Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to step onto the ice for some biscuits and penalties. I am host Alex, and I am joined by Kat. Say hi, Kat.
Hey, I'm sure everybody's so excited to have me back on here.
Oh yeah, we always love having Kat on the podcast. So we are right around playoff season. But before we talk about the playoff race, because it is a pretty interesting close race, we have to talk about the spotlight of the season, which is Alex Ovechkin, the Capitals captain, scored 2 goals last night. To on 3 shots to tie Wayne Gretzky's record at 894 goals. To be able to pass him, he needs 895. He's looking to pass it tomorrow afternoon against the Islanders. If not, it will be at home against the Hurricanes. Obviously, this is a big achievement for him. And with his injury in November with his fractured leg, it was kind of in limbo of him being able to pass it. But Ovechkin does Ovechkin things, and a leg injury won't deter him from passing Gretzky's record. And Gretzky's in full support. He was in the crowd last night with the commissioner. He was with Ovechkin's wife. His kids were there. So everyone is in full support with Ovechkin to pass him. Now, obviously, he has done it with one team, and Gretzky got his record with multiple teams. But my question to you, Kat, is: do you think someone is going to pass Ovechkin eventually in terms of the goal record, or if someone's going to fall short of him, knowing how many great players are in the league right now?
Um, so as many people who have listened to this podcast know, I'm still very new to hockey. Um, and actually the last time I was this interested in hockey was when Wayne Gretzky was still playing. Okay? So, that's how old I am. Um And Ovechkin is really the first one that I even heard could beat Gretzky. And then, of course, hearing that he had broken his leg in November and he's still, like, now he's tied with Gretzky. That's just mind blowing. But I will say this, um, records are made to be broken. Um, when Lou Gehrig had his record of 2030 games, and then Cal Ripken came along and played like 2000, what was it, 2900 some, I don't remember. um and as a giant Cal Ripken fan, I'm sure a lot of people are going to boo me for that one, but Cal Ripken himself was like, somebody else is going to come along and beat this record. Somebody's going to do it at some point in time. Will I live to see it? Maybe. But I think I think Gretzky knew it was going to happen, and I think Ovechkin knows it's going to happen. Like, someone is going to come along and beat them. Sorry, the allergies. But I think whoever it is that is going to beat, you know, beat Ovechkin's record, whatever it ends up being, mind you, um, it's going to have to be somebody dedicated and um somebody who is playing the hockey of their time. Like, Gretzky could not play hockey right now. Ovechkin probably could not have played hockey when Gretzky was playing. Um, if that makes sense. Like, sports change over time. So I feel like whoever is going to beat Ovechkin is somebody who is playing the hockey of their time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like you said, records may be broken. Most records are impossible to break. A lot of baseball records obviously never be broken. Like the most stolen bases in a single season, and most home runs in a single season. Those records are probably never gonna be broken. And the fact that Gretzky is so motivated to support Ovechkin, he's going to be in New York tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon, I guess, for the Islanders Capitals game, which tickets overnight went from 270 nosebleeds to 1,100 to $1,500 overnight because of the sensational moment that could happen tomorrow night, could happen Thursday, could happen at the end of the season. Who knows at this point? But what we do know is Ovechkin will break the record tomorrow or some point before the playoffs starts, and he is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He has the resume for it, and who knows if the Capitals play well in the postseason, Gretzky, oh, Ovechkin is going to be a two-time Stanley Cup champion and right up into the sunset with that.
I mean, at that point, he kind of has to, right? Like, it's not going to get much better than that.
Oh yeah,
I mean, can it? You break Wayne Gretzky's record, and I'm sure there are a bunch of other records that Ovechkin now holds. Um, the title, is that what we call it when somebody holds a record?
I think so. I
Um,
think
a title, a record, whatever. Um, oh goodness, I'm so sorry. This cough won't go away. Um, but I think um I think he would be remorseful to play another season. Like, how's it going to get any better than it is now? Like, if he plays another season, like, what would be the point? I guess is what I'm saying.
yeah, definitely. Obviously we've heard Ovechkin might not play next year, and I think the Capitals are aware of that, and the coach is aware of that, and the front offices, and all that is happening. But
All
regardless,
of his teammates.
oh yeah, they know where to put the puck. Ovechkin's stick, and he made a joke to the coach last night that he doesn't want to pass the record on an empty net goal. He wants to pass it and shoot on a goalie, which
Yeah.
plays into his teammate morality and his teammate support of getting guys their goals and stuff like that.
He
But
puts the team first, which is it's so rare anymore. Like, you've got so many guys who are, and this is any sport. You've got so many guys who, there is no I in team, and they're like, let me just stick one in there.
oh yeah, for sure, I definitely agree with that. But moving on from the spotlight in the NHL, we are approaching a week left and some odd days of the regular season, and the standings are more important than ever right now, with limited games left and teams crawling and fighting for the last playoff spots because there are still 3 or 4 playoff spots still available in both conferences because the margin is so tight. So I want your thoughts on the close playoff race at the end of the season with the closeness of the wild card spots. If you have looked at the standings prior, um, get your thoughts on how close it has been at the back end of the season.
Um, I know you guys have talked about this in our chat. You guys have talked about this a lot, like how close they are. Um, I'm guessing it's the Panthers who are the next closest team in the Eastern Conference.
Yes, they needed to win today, and they ended up losing to not clinch. But they are the next team up to clinch because we have don't think the Devils have had any chance to clinch, but the Panthers are the next team up to clinch.
Okay, and then there are already 4 teams that have clinched in the Western Conference, but I think I think the Kings are the next to like have the chance.
Yes, they have 97 points currently, fighting for their lives against the Oilers to not jump them in the wild card race or for the division race. Obviously the
Oh
Knights
wow.
clinching. They are tooth and nail with McDavid and the Oilers.
Well, they just beat the Oilers today 3-0, I think. The Kings beat the Oilers. Oh wait, I switched conferences.
No, you're right. The Kings, the
There it
Kings
is.
beat the Oilers 3-0. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So maybe the points haven't updated yet. But I'm finding the point system to be really it was kind of confusing the first time I learned about it, but now kind of like seeing it in action, so to speak, it makes a lot more sense. Um that being said, I I would think that like certain teams are not making it in at all. Like the Blackhawks, the Predators, the Sharks, the Kraken, the Ducks. They're probably not making it in at all. Like they've probably whatever the opposite of clinched is. That's what they are.
Eliminated.
Yeah, that one. And like the Sabres, the Bruins, the Flyers, the Penguins, a bunch of teams that that I have rooted for. Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And as a first-time hockey watcher, the point system it gets confusing. But once you understand how it works, it's very easy to understand. And this has probably been the closest the playoff race has ever been that I have seen. We have the Canadians who are battling the Rangers to death right now. They are 4 points separated from each other. The Rangers, I believe, just shut out the Devils today 4-0 in a
Oh wow.
crazy game that the Devils goalie, the Devils shut out the Rangers. The Devils goalie was the first goalie to shut out the Rangers twice in a season in 20 seasons. And this has been a tight race. And we've seen it basically not as well as this season, especially in the Western Conference right now. We have the Wild and the Blues have been fighting for the 1 and 2 spot. The Flames are right behind the Wild. The Canucks are still in contention. So these are teams that need to win these games to push in. And the Blues, I don't know what's happening with them. They were thinking it's 2019 over again when they won the Stanley Cup. They are on a 12-game winning streak, and I don't know where it came from, but they have surged in the past 2 months of the season to get to where they are now. And it's going to be a fun bracket to watch, especially with the looming potential final of the Capitals and the Jets, the two teams that have been fighting for the President's Trophy all season long. And the Capitals are a point behind the Jets, so we're just hoping the Jets can lose games and we can win games to get there. But it's basically been a fun season so far. A lot of crazy things happening. 7 spots have been clinched so far, as we mentioned. Um,
Yes.
most in the Eastern Conference with the Leaves, Lightning, Panthers, Capitals, and the Canes. And then the West is still at battle. We have 4 teams: Jets, Stars, Avalanche, and the Knights. We'll probably know by early next week about the rest of the Western Conference, knowing what's at stake. I think some of the teams are playing tonight that need to win,
Now,
which
does each conference have 8 teams that qualify, or is it like league wide?
so each conference has 2 divisions. The East has the Atlantic Division and the Metropolitan Division. The top 3 teams um, get home ice advantage, and then the two wildcard teams will play one of the top seeds. So right now, the Capitals were the best team in the Metropolitan, so we're playing the Canadians, which is the second wildcard seed. Um, Basically, if you took the NFL and made it, split it from AFC and NFC, and then split them up 8 teams into regions, and then
See, I
play
have
off of
always
that.
been terrible about how they do the brackets. I have always been terrible. Like, understanding the bracket has always been the hardest part of this for me. Like, I understand, like, some teams get a bye week or whatever, but how they figure that out is always beyond me.
Oh, trust me, I look at the clinching scenarios. I'm like, how do they figure this out? Because I'm looking at this. I'm like, how does this work with the commissioner? How do they do this? I assume it's
They
records of
hired a statistician. That's what they did. They hired some math person and they said, figure this out for us. And that's why we can't figure it out without their help.
definitely. So we're gonna get to the standings as the playoffs loom, and we're gonna talk about all the records, even the teams that have been eliminated, because it's important, obviously. I'm going to do the Metropolitan, and then we're gonna flip flop back and forth for each conference. So Cat's gonna do the Atlantic, then I'm gonna do the Central in the West, and she's gonna do the Pacific in the West. So we have even divisions because there's 4 conferences or 4 divisions within the conference. So
Okay. I'll try not to
we
screw this up.
you're fine. Leading the Metropolitan Division, as always, for the bulk of the back half of the season, the Washington Capitals, 49, 18, and 9 with 107 points. Carolina Hurricanes, right on their tail, 46, 26, and 4, 96 points. New Jersey Devils, 41, 29, and 7, 89 points. The New York Rangers, 36, 33, and 7, 79 points. Columbus Blue Jackets, 34, 32, and 9, 77 points. New York Islanders, 33, 32, 10 with 76 points. Pittsburgh Penguins, 31, 34, and 12, 74 points. And the Philadelphia Flyers, the bottom feeders in the Metropolitan Division, at 31, 37, and 9 with 71 points.
Okay, so now we have the Atlantic Division. The Toronto Maple Leafs with 47, 25, and 4 with 98 points. The Tampa Bay Lightning with 44 wins, 26 losses, 5 ties for a total of 93 points. The Florida Panthers at 44, 28, and 4 for a grand total of 92 points. The Ottawa, mm, I don't know what their mascot is.
Senators.
Senators. I didn't get that from their logo. They should work on that. They're at 41, 29, 6 for 88 points. Um, Montreal. Oh, I forget what Montreal is.
The Canadians.
Canadians. Wow. That I didn't get that at all, man. Anyway, 37, 30, and 9 for 83 points. The Detroit Red Wings are at 35, 33, and 7 for 77 points. We've got the Boston. Hmm. Boston. Ooh.
Bruins.
What is it?
Bruins.
Bruins. I think I knew that. Why did I forget that? Anyway, at 31, 37, and 9 for 71 points. And then the Buffalo Blue. Is that
Sabres.
right? Okay. With 32, 36, and 6 for a total of 70 points.
And leading the Central Division in the Western Conference and it has been for I believe the entire season. It seems like with the Winnipeg Jets 52-21 and 408 points, and right on their tail and refusing to give up the fight. The Dallas Stars 50-22 and 404 points.
Man, they're
Carolina,
really
hmm?
they're right there. They're really like chasing them down.
Oh yeah, the Colorado Avalanche 47-27 and 498 points. St. Louis Blues 43-28 and 793 points. Minnesota Wild 41-29 and 789 points. Utah Hockey Club soon to be hopefully the
Hopefully.
Minutes at 35-30 and 12 82 points. Nashville Predators 27-41 862 points. And the bottom feeders, and unfortunately for Connor Bedard, the Chicago Blackhawks 21-45 and 10 with
Ooh,
52 points.
ouch. That stings a little bit. Okay. Um, wow. I don't know who this first team is at all.
That's the Vegas Golden Knights. They are a expansion team from 2017, 2018.
Oh, okay. So the Vegas Golden Knights with a 45-22 and 8 record with 98 points. The Los Angeles Kings at 44-23 and 9 with a total of 97 points. They are right on Vegas's heels. The Oilers,
The Edmonton Oilers.
Edmonton Oilers with a 44-27 and 5 with 93 points. Um Cal is this Calgary?
Yes, the Calgary Flames.
Calgary Flames at 36-27 and 12 with 84 points. The Van the Canucks,
Vancouver Canucks.
Vancouver Canucks at 35-28 and 13 with 83 points. The Anaheim Ducks, the poor things, with a 33-35 and 8 record and 74 points. The um Seattle oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Seattle. Oh, what is it? Tell me.
Kraken.
Kraken. I knew it was a sea creature. 32-38 and 6 for 70 points. And then another team that I have no idea who it is.
The San Jose Sharks.
Oh, San Jose Sharks with a 20, ouch, 45-10 with a grand total of 50 points.
And the Sharks potentially have the Rookie of the Year candidate of Malcolm Celebrini, the first overall pick of the 2024 NHL draft. He's been doing well for them.
Wow.
No, they have been trucking again, which is
They
doing
haven't they
nothing.
haven't been doing well, but he's been doing well.
Oh yeah, it seems like all the top candidates go to top garbage teams to do nothing in the vicinity because they can't build around their talent.
That's crazy. And is that like a thing in hockey? I feel like a lot of standout players have come from not so great teams. And then when that player leaves or retires, the whole team falls apart. Like I feel like I've seen that a couple of times. And again, I am not one that has been in like super duper interested in the world of hockey. Um, but I'm getting there. So, uh, but just from, what I've heard over the decades that I've watched sports, I've heard here and there about different like hockey stars and their team just not being able to like keep up with them.
It's weird. It's not like the NFL when the crappiest team is the number one overall pick. They kind of do what the NBA does as a entry lottery draft. So the the bum teams don't have a chance at the number one pick, but they usually get it. But they're trying to do the NBA and make it fair to all teams. Granted, the NFL has been doing the crappiest thing is the number one overall pick and the best thing is the 32nd overall pick for decades. And the NHL has
Yeah.
never changed the ways of doing the draft. And it just happens the best players from Canada and overseas gets picked by the bad teams and they go to
Oh
die
wow.
in those teams. Um, with
That's
that being
crazy.
That being said, we are going to go to our games of the weekend, and how this works is I'm going to read off the games for tomorrow and the games for Monday, and we're going to give two games for Sunday and one game for Monday of what game we're going to be watching very closely this weekend as we are winding down to the end of the season. So the games on Sunday, we have a big slate on Sunday with 8 games. First game kicking off at 12:30. Capitals Islanders, Stars Wild, Blue Jackets Senators, Panthers Red Wings, Bruins Sabres, Penguins Blackhawks, Canadians Predators, and the Golden Knights and the Canucks. So what are your two games for Sunday, Kat?
Um honestly, the Capitals, I mean, is anybody not going to try and watch that game? I mean, really? I won't be able to watch it because I don't have any way to watch it, but I'm certainly going to be keeping a close eye on it. Um and then honestly, um I think I can watch the Golden Knights and the Canucks because I have ESPN. So I might try and watch that.
So
What about
my
you?
my two games on Sunday, I'm going to go with the one of the night games. The Panthers and the Red Wings. Detroit has nothing to play for. They are in the bottom half of the conference, not pushing for the playoff but the Panthers desperately are trying to clinch that playoff spot because they apparently forgot how to win games today because they just lost 3
Ouch.
nothing to the Senators. So it feels like they just don't know how to play hockey anymore. Even getting, Brad Marchand the trade deadline. And the other game we'll be closely watching is the Canadians Predators game. Canadians are possibly going to be the Capitals round one matchup, depending on what happens with the standings and the point situation and what's going on. The Predators obviously are looking for the offseason. They are eliminated. They have done nothing, even though they've added Steven Stamkos and had a great offseason. The Predators, just like every national team, can't get the feet going and the ground running to push for anything for any reason. And the
Gotcha.
5 games for Monday, we have the Lightning, Rangers, Blues, Jets, Oilers, Ducks, Kraken, Kings, and the Flames, Sharks. So, what is the one game you are going to keep a close eye on for Monday?
Um, I can't help myself. I like the Ducks, so I'd love to be able to keep an eye on the Oilers Ducks.
That's a good game. The Oilers are trying. I think they're trying to get into the playoffs and or keep their spot in the playoffs currently. Let me go back to the standings real fast. Yeah, they are trying to get past the Kings to get that second spot. So, but there's some of these teams they're just trying to play spoiler to what's about to happen. So,
Mhm.
definitely an interesting pick for Monday. My pick for Monday going to be the Blues and the Jets at 7:30 in the Intro Network. The Blues, like I said, are on a 12-game winning streak out of but nowhere. I don't know where they came from. Trying to play spoilers of the Jets getting the President's Trophy and extending their lead on the Capitals to get there. Jordan Bennington versus Colin Hellebuck, two teams that have great goalies, and the Blues are playing like 2019 over again. Could we see the Blues running back, all these years later, or are we seeing the Jets dominate like we always have? And it seems like a very close game to watch, and definitely going to keep an eye on that. Anything else you'd like to add to anything we've talked about in the podcast tonight?
No, I'm just excited that I could hop on and, you know, Thanks for having me. I'm super thrilled to be able to follow Ovechkin as he's been chasing down Gretzky. And I mean, this is what sports are all about. You know, the fact that Gretzky is there and is cheering him on. I mean, that is what sports are all about, and I love that I get to see that.
Definitely. And this episode of Biscuits N Penalties was brought to you by Dr. Squatch with the new collection of Total Moisture Collection to help with dry skin. So if you use Dr. Squatch, make sure you use our link in the bio wherever you get your podcast from. I'd like to plug our other podcast on the social sports pad network catalog. The Hard Count, our football podcast. I believe we're having a episode before and after the draft. Our Dirt Turf, our baseball podcast hosted by my guest tonight, Kat.
Yay!
The Lap Down, hosted by, I believe, Ryan right now, but soon to be back on behind the wheel is Greg. And the
Yes.
second one I'm co-hosting is the Social Slam podcast, a wrestling podcast, when we talk all things wrestling as we wind down the countdown to WrestleMania in Vegas on the 19th and 20th of this year.
Speaking of expensive tickets,
Oh yeah, I've been wanting to go to WrestleMania for a long time, and Vegas is not cheap for any.
Vegas will not be the WrestleMania I make it to.
We're also on Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok for however long that lasts for, because 75 more days of will be banned in America and not be banned. Who knows? Because apparently the government doesn't know what they're doing anymore with that. And wherever you get your podcasts from, that is it for Biscuits and Penalties. We have to step off the ice because I see the Sambino. And next time we see you, we'll be talking playoff hockey because the bracket will be out and official of who's playing who and where. Good night and goodbye, everybody.